So you crossed the Spanish Moroccan Channel. What was next?
Yeah. So then I heard about this thing called the Ocean Seven. So this came out by a chap called Steve Munatones, who was very well respected in the open water swimming world, and he said these are the hardest seven swims on the planet. He gave reasons why, and I thought, well, that would be a great challenge. You know, you've done those two. And Hawaii was on there, and I thought, what a great swim. Hawaii must be easier than the other two. It's much warmer. You know, it's Hawaii. So I took that on next, and that was the longest of all the seven, 26 miles. English Channel and Gibraltar were around about 21 miles. So that's what I decided to take on. So I trained up for that, trained a longer distance, got on the plane. It took me 18 hours to get there. Arrived at 2 in the morning, got a call at 8 in the morning saying we're going at 3 in the morning, so 24 hours later. And I flew across to the island, Molakai as it's pronounced, to Oahu is the swim. And so I had to see the ocean as I flew across and where I'm about to swim. And I started around about 6 in the morning. And the reason I started at 6 in the morning, we met up at 3:30, was because we had to start in the light. We had to wait until it went light because of the sharks. Because obviously it's shark bound and they're nocturnal. So we waited until it was light and then I started the swim. So I went on from there and was extremely tired for the first couple of hours because of, I think, maybe a bit of jet lag and the journey.
I think, yeah.
And I got 8 hours in and thought, God, I can see land. I'm 2 miles from land after 8 hours. And the worst thing ever happened. The pilot said he's going to break the world record, which is 12 hours. And from there I started to go faster and I went backwards for 3 hours because of the currents. So I literally just went straight backwards and probably lost another 2 miles. Then I went sideways, and the pilot was so confused what to do because only 21 people in the world had ever crossed it, and he had taken maybe 10. Everyone had finished at the shortest point, and unlucky for me, I was going sideways. All 3 navigation systems were down, so he didn't know where he was in the middle of the ocean. My friend was trying to measure with a piece of cardboard and a pencil of where we were in the ocean. He was on the phone to someone to try and help him. And we just kept going sideways and sideways and sideways. And in the end, 13 and a half hours in, it started to go dark. And I had a light stick that's tied to me that, obviously, so they can see me. And I thought I better turn that off because of the sharks. And so I turned that off. And a kayaker actually came in off the boat to support me, for the sharks. And within 2 minutes of him coming in, I then had the most horrific pain that I've ever felt in my life, which I didn't know what it was at the time. And it turned out to be a Portuguese man-of-war. It left terrible scarring across my stomach, but I lost feeling in my spine. I started to, again, be really, really sick. They have the toxins, 75% of the toxins of a cobra snake. So what they do is, a Portuguese man-of-war isn't actually a jellyfish, it's made up of different organisms, and they shut down whatever they touch. So they consume the fish by paralysing them. And my spine went all numb, and I thought, I'm going paralysed here. And all I could think was, if you're going to paralyse me, at least let me finish this flipping swim, because I've just been out here 13 and a half hours. Anyway, in the end, it took me 17 hours, finished, cut my leg on a rock, and the kayaker said, wow, he said, you see that tiger shark? It was 5 metres away from you when you walked out. I said, no, I didn't see it. He says, it was just covered in sharks. So I stood on the beach, blood coming out my leg. My epiglottis, the dangly thing down your throat, was 3 times as big, so I couldn't breathe properly. And I had this horrific pain. I actually pulled 2 tentacles off my stomach, so I actually tore them off. And I read afterwards that you're supposed to delicately use maybe a credit card or something because they leave the poison in there.
Wow.
And salt water keeps the poison in you as well. It keeps the barbs alive, which will pierce you. So that was not the most pleasant experience, it's fair to say. And
was that the worst you've had out of all of them?
Yeah, I've had some pretty difficult times, but I think that was the worst for the sheer pain that I was in. And when I was actually stung, it was, how do you get through 3.5 hours of agony?
How do you?
I knew you could ask me that. Again, experience says you've got through 2 of them, this is another challenge. And I thought to myself, look, Adam, if you can get through this, you can get through anything. This is a real test. What are you capable of? And I guess, most people would get out and quit once they have that kind of pain and go to hospital, which is what you should do. But it was too important to me. I thought about, again, how far I'd travelled, how much effort I'd put in, the fact that I may not have another chance to do this ever again. And I thought, just stay with the programme, and all these devils, and there was lots of devils this time, all around my brain telling me to give up. And I tried to visualise the sting as a warm blanket around me. So I'm in the warm blanket, so I'm actually lucky because I can't get hypothermia, I can't be cold because of this warm blanket. So every time I felt the burning, which I can only describe as scalding yourself with hot boiling water, times that by maybe 1,000, and it has that sizzling feel to it. And I said to the kayaker how long to go, and he said an hour at the time. I thought, I can't do 2 minutes here. And what I did was I built up lots of 2 minutes. I can do 2 minutes, fine. I can do another 2 minutes, another 2 minutes. It was supposed to take an hour, and it went on for 3.5 of all those 2 minutes added up, which is a lot of 2 minutes. But I remember standing on the beach in disbelief of how I'd got through it. But it's the best thing that ever happened to me, because now, what else could get me? It can't get much worse than that. So I was in a lot of pain for the next week.